Have you ever wondered about the traits you would want in our future president? During history, there are many presidents from George Washington to Barack Obama. They all served with fairness and they dealt with all problems necessary, and it's what makes the United States of America the strong country it is now. The USA had a total of 44 presidents and about to be 45 in the following year. There are many different traits each president has or had, but the traits these 6 presidents show are what I hope are the traits in our future president. Responsibilities and qualifications of being president. The qualifications you need to become president are you have to be 35 years or older, and you have to be born in the United States or have lived in the United States for 14 years. As president, you have many responsibilities to do. The president has to deal with any problems during their 4 years as president. Some of the responsibilities you have to do as president is you have to approve or veto laws, and you are commander-in-chief of the armed forces. President 1, George Washington. George Washington was our first ever president of the United States. He led with honor and he was responsible, but the trait that stood out most was he led with fairness. He showed he was fair because when he had to find ways to restore the nation's finances, he started putting taxes on goods even though some people didn't like the taxes. During his 2 terms, he ended all problems given to him. For example, when the war broke out between France and England, George Washington kept America out of the war because he believed America should grow to become a stronger country. President 2, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was our 16th president and led America through the Civil War. The trait he showed most was integrity. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln was the president of the Union. The way he showed integrity in his 4 years as president was by being honest and fair to the Union and the Confederates. The way he was honest and fair is because after the Civil War was over and the Union won, Abraham Lincoln made a plan. The plan was only one to the Confederates have to swear loyalty to the Union. And he didn't want to punish the Confederates even though they lost the Civil War. And many people wanted them to get punished. President 3, Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th president of the USA. The trait he showed was social boldness. The way he showed social boldness is because he took control of the construction of the Panama Canal, which provided an international trading system for all countries. Another way he showed social boldness was during the time of the end of his presidency. It was the start of the new election for president. Theodore Roosevelt didn't like the next president running up, so he decided that he would run again for president. The way he showed social boldness there was by running again against the person he thought wouldn't be a great president for the USA. President 4, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin D. Roosevelt led America through the Great Depression. The Great Depression was a tough time for America because nearly 13 million people were unemployed, banks had failed, and factories had closed. He was also diagnosed with polio before his presidency, which paralyzed his legs, so he couldn't walk anymore. The trait Franklin D. Roosevelt showed during his presidency was inspiration. The way he showed he was inspirational was by dealing with all the problems during the time he was president, even though he still had polio. President 5, John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was the youngest president at the age of 43 years old. John F. Kennedy also set aside billions of dollars for the space program, so America could have the first ever astronaut on the moon. The trait John F. Kennedy showed was charisma. He showed charisma when the Soviet Union launched the satellite Sputnik in 1957, and they also held a space race. The way he showed charisma during the space race was by having faith that the U.S. would have the first person on the moon, and he showed charisma when the Soviet Union threatened a nuclear war and placed missiles in Cuba. Kennedy addressed the issue on national television. After that, he made an urgent request to other nations using the United Nations organization used for peacekeeping. Then he argued that other countries had an interest in avoiding nuclear war and the spread of nuclear weapons. Eventually, the Soviet Union backed down. President 6, John Tyler. John Tyler was the 10th President of the United States. He served a term of 4 years. John Tyler was a member of the Whig Party, but later on the Whig Party expelled him from the party. John Tyler believed states' rights should be more powerful than the federal government. And after presidency, he became a member of the Confederate House of Representatives. But the trait which stood out the most was a self-assurance. He had self-assurance because he didn't care what other people thought of him. even though he joined the Confederate House of Representatives and believed states' rights should be more powerful than the federal government. A nickname people gave John Tyler was Accidental President, or his accidency, because he became president because of the sudden death of William Henry Harrison after 1 month of becoming president because of pneumonia. In conclusion, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, and John Tyler each had a trait. These 6 traits are fairness, integrity, social boldness, inspiration, charisma, and self-assurance. In my opinion, these are the 6 traits which would make the perfect president. The way the future president could use these traits is by being fair and dealing with the problems in the United States during their presidency.